The Queen Mary Hotel stood tall and imposing against the moonlit sky, its rusty hull and towering smokestacks casting eerie shadows over the deserted dock. Once a majestic ocean liner, the ship had been transformed into a luxurious hotel, attracting guests from around the world with promises of a unique and haunting experience. Little did they know that the Queen Mary harbored secrets darker than the deepest ocean. Emma, a thrill-seeker with a fascination for the paranormal, had chosen the Queen Mary for her next adventure. She checked into a room on the lower decks, a place rumored to be haunted by the spirits of long-departed passengers. As she entered her dimly lit cabin, the air seemed to thicken with an unsettling energy. The room carried a heavy aura of the past, whispers of forgotten souls lingering in the corners. Ignoring the chill that ran down her spine, Emma unpacked her bags and settled in for the night. The ship creaked and groaned as if it were alive, its time-worn structure echoing the tales of tragedy and mystery that had unfolded within its walls. Emma dismissed the sounds as mere quirks of an old vessel, but little did she know that the Queen Mary had other plans for her. As the clock struck midnight, Emma was awoken by the distant echo of footsteps in the corridor outside her door. She peered into the darkness, her eyes adjusting to the dim glow of a flickering overhead light. The footsteps grew louder, echoing with an unnatural rhythm that sent shivers down her spine. Unable to resist the allure of the mysterious sounds, Emma grabbed a flashlight and ventured into the narrow hallway. The air hung heavy with a frigid cold, and the walls seemed to close in on her with each step. The ship's interior was labyrinthine, a maze of narrow passages and hidden staircases that seemed to lead to forgotten realms. As Emma followed the haunting footsteps, she stumbled upon a locked door bearing a tarnished brass plaque that read, "Restricted area, no entry." Ignoring the warning, Emma felt an inexplicable urge to explore what lay beyond. With a creaking sound, the door swung open, revealing a corridor that was hidden from the eyes of ordinary guests. The corridor was bathed in an otherworldly light, the air thick with an ancient, musty scent. Emma's flashlight flickered, casting eerie shadows that danced along the walls. The footsteps led her deeper into the hidden recesses of the ship, each step resonating with the echoes of a bygone era. As she rounded a corner, Emma stumbled upon a forgotten ballroom, its grandeur faded with time. The room was adorned with dilapidated chandeliers that swayed gently, as if propelled by an invisible force. The air was charged with an unsettling energy, and Emma felt the gaze of unseen eyes upon her. Suddenly, the temperature plummeted, and the room echoed with ghostly laughter. Emma's breath hung in the air like a spectral mist as she realized she was not alone. The ghostly apparitions of elegantly dressed couples materialized on the dance floor, frozen in a timeless waltz. Their eyes, hollow and empty, stared into the void as they continued their eternal dance. A ghastly voice reverberated through the air, whispering tales of tragedy and lost love. Emma felt a cold hand on her shoulder, and as she turned, she was met with the gaze of a forlorn spirit, her eyes pleading for release from the chains of the past. The ghostly figures closed in, their ethereal forms swirling around Emma in a haunting dance. Terrified, Emma stumbled backward, desperately searching for an escape. The once opulent ballroom transformed into a nightmarish realm, the walls closing in as spectral hands reached out to grasp her. The air resonated with anguished cries, the tormented voices of the ship's forgotten passengers pleading for salvation. With a surge of adrenaline, Emma raced through the haunted corridors, the unseen spirits trailing behind her like shadows. The ship seemed to come alive, its time-worn structure groaning and contorting as if it were a living entity. The ghostly footsteps echoed in her ears, a haunting symphony of the afterlife. Finally, Emma burst into her cabin, gasping for breath. The room, once a temporary sanctuary, now felt like a prison within the haunted confines of the Queen Mary. The ghostly presence lingered, and Emma could still hear the distant echoes of the spectral ballroom in the silence that followed. As dawn approached, the ship's ghostly inhabitants retreated into the shadows, leaving Emma in a state of bewilderment and fear. The Queen Mary, with its dark secrets and haunted history, had chosen her as a vessel for the spirits to temporarily materialize and relive their tragic tales. With a heavy heart, Emma checked out of the Queen Mary Hotel, forever haunted by the echoes of a nightmarish dance and the ghostly whispers that lingered in the air. The once majestic ocean liner continued to sail through the waters of time, its haunted corridors awaiting the next unsuspecting guest to unlock the secrets of its haunted past. Days passed, but the haunting memories of that fateful night aboard the Queen Mary Hotel lingered in Emma's mind like an indelible stain. Sleep eluded her, as the echoes of ghostly footsteps and spectral laughter reverberated through her dreams. Determined to unravel the mysteries that clung to the ship's time-worn corridors, Emma found herself drawn back to the Queen Mary, unable to escape its ghostly embrace. She returned to the hotel with a newfound determination, armed with a camera, audio recorder, and a notebook to document her encounters. The once bustling dock now seemed desolate, as if the Queen Mary stood in solitary silence, waiting for the next brave soul to delve into its secrets. Emma checked into the hotel once again, choosing the same cabin that had become the epicenter of her otherworldly experience. As night fell, Emma began her exploration armed with curiosity and trepidation. The ship's eerie stillness enveloped her as she navigated the narrow corridors, her senses heightened to the slightest sound. The ship seemed to come alive with a malevolent energy, a palpable tension that hung in the air like a thick fog. Emma retraced her steps to the forbidden corridor that led to the hidden ballroom, the door still ajar as if inviting her to continue the dance with the spirits. The air grew colder, and the distant echoes of a melancholic melody reached her ears. The ballroom materialized before her, bathed in a ghostly glow, as if frozen in a timeless moment. The spectral figures resumed their waltz, their ethereal forms gliding across the dance floor with a haunting elegance. Emma observed them with a mix of awe and trepidation, her camera capturing the ethereal dance that defied the laws of the living. As the ghostly figures twirled and swirled, a lone figure detached from the dance and approached Emma. It was the same spirit that had touched her shoulder during her previous encounter, a woman with sorrowful eyes and a spectral aura. The ghostly figure extended a hand, and Emma hesitated before accepting the invitation to join the spectral waltz. As they danced together, Emma felt a surge of emotions, a mix of sadness, longing, and a strange connection to the past. The ghostly ballroom seemed to transcend time, and Emma found herself immersed in the tragic stories of the spirits that surrounded her. The voices of the past echoed through the air, recounting tales of lost love, betrayal, and untimely deaths. Emma's camera captured the ghostly images and ethereal voices, turning the once silent ballroom into a conduit between the living and the dead. The dance continued until the first light of dawn crept through the portholes, and the ghostly figures faded away like mist in the morning sun. Emma stood alone in the silent ballroom, her heart heavy with the weight of the stories she had witnessed. As she exited the hidden corridor, she knew that her quest for understanding had only just begun. Over the following nights, Emma delved deeper into the Queen Mary's haunted realms, uncovering forgotten passages and hidden chambers that whispered of untold horrors. She encountered the spirits of crew members, their ghostly forms still tending to their duties as if bound by an otherworldly duty. The engine room echoed with the ghostly clang of metal, and shadowy figures toiled in perpetual labor, their faces etched with the exhaustion of a life unlived. Emma's investigations led her to the ship's infirmary, a place where the spirits of a bygone era sought solace from the pain and suffering that had defined their final moments. The air was heavy with the scent of antiseptic, and the flickering lights cast eerie shadows on rusted medical instruments. Ghostly moans and whispers filled the air, and Emma could sense the residual anguish that clung to the sterile walls. As she explored the infirmary, Emma discovered the tragic story of a young nurse named Eleanor, whose life had been cut short during a maritime disaster. Eleanor's spirit appeared to Emma, her translucent form flickering in and out of existence. Through a series of ghostly visions, Emma witnessed the desperate attempts of the ship's medical staff to save lives as chaos ensued around them. Eleanor's voice resonated in Emma's mind, pleading for closure and redemption. Guided by a newfound purpose, Emma embarked on a journey to help the spirits find peace, to unravel the mysteries that bound them to the Queen Mary's haunted confines. Armed with historical records and old ship logs, Emma painstakingly pieced together the events that had led to the Queen Mary's tragic past. The ship had witnessed wartime horrors, serving as a troop transport during World War II, carrying young soldiers to an uncertain fate. Emma discovered the stories of soldiers who had perished during the war, their spirits forever tethered to the vessel that had become both their sanctuary and their tomb. The Queen Mary, once a symbol of opulence and grandeur, had become a vessel for the restless souls who sought recognition and release from the shackles of the past. Emma's encounters with the spirits intensified, as the ethereal voices grew louder, their stories intertwining in a symphony of sorrow. In her pursuit of the truth, Emma encountered a mysterious figure, a spectral presence that seemed to guide her through the haunted corridors. The figure, clad in a tattered uniform, revealed himself to be Captain William Harrison, the commanding officer of the Queen Mary during its wartime service. Captain Harrison's spirit, burdened by the weight of responsibility and the lives lost under his command, sought redemption for the sins of the past. With Captain Harrison as her spectral guide, Emma embarked on a series of paranormal investigations that took her to the darkest corners of the Queen Mary. Together, they communed with the spirits of fallen soldiers, nurses, and passengers, listening to their tales of love and loss. The ship's ghostly inhabitants, once confined to the shadows, began to manifest more frequently, their ethereal presence bridging the gap between the living and the dead. As Emma delved deeper into the mysteries of the Queen Mary, she discovered a forgotten section of the ship, a secret chamber hidden beneath the waterline. The chamber, untouched by time, revealed a trove of artifacts and relics from the ship's wartime past. Among the artifacts was a tattered journal belonging to Captain Harrison, chronicling the trials and tribulations of wartime service. The journal spoke of a tragic incident, a collision with another vessel during a foggy night that had claimed the lives of many on board. The Queen Mary, scarred by the horrors of war, had become a vessel of sorrow, forever haunted by the ghosts of its past. Emma realized that the key to releasing the spirits lay in uncovering the truth behind the wartime tragedy and providing closure to the souls trapped within the ship's spectral embrace. Guided by Captain Harrison's ethereal presence, Emma conducted seances and paranormal investigations in an attempt to communicate with the spirits of those who had perished. The ship's corridors echoed with ghostly voices, revealing the untold stories of sacrifice and heroism. Emma's efforts to unveil the truth began to lift the veil that shrouded the Queen Mary in darkness. As the paranormal investigations progressed, Emma uncovered a series of hidden messages and symbols etched into the ship's structure, messages left behind by the spirits as a desperate plea for recognition and remembrance. Each symbol told a story, and Emma painstakingly decoded the ghostly messages, revealing the names and faces of the forgotten souls who had once sailed aboard the Queen Mary. With the newfound knowledge, Emma organized a memorial ceremony aboard the ship, inviting paranormal experts, historians, and descendants of those who had served during the war. The Queen Mary, now a vessel of redemption, bore witness to the emotional gathering as the living paid tribute to the departed. As the memorial ceremony unfolded, the ship's haunted corridors seemed to sigh with relief, as if the spirits had finally found the acknowledgement they sought. In the days that followed, Emma continued her mission to bring closure to the spirits of the Queen Mary. With the help of historians and paranormal experts, she uncovered a hidden chamber beneath the ship, where the remains of those lost during the wartime collision were laid to rest in unmarked graves. The discovery prompted a solemn ceremony to honor the fallen, and the ship's haunted corridors echoed with the voices of gratitude from the spirits who had long yearned for recognition. As the sun set on the Queen Mary, a profound sense of peace settled over the vessel. The once haunted ballroom, infirmary, and hidden corridors now exuded a tranquil energy, as if the ship itself had found solace in the resolution of its tormented past. Emma, having played a pivotal role in the redemption of the Queen Mary's spirits, bid farewell to the historic vessel, her heart heavy with gratitude and a newfound respect for the thin veil between the living and the dead. The Queen Mary, now free from the shackles of its haunted history, sailed silently into the night, its rusted hull gliding through the waters with a newfound grace. As the ship disappeared into the horizon, Emma watched from the dock, knowing that she had played a role in rewriting the tragic narrative that had once defined the Queen Mary Hotel. Though the echoes of ghostly laughter and haunting footsteps remained etched in her memory, Emma left the dock with a sense of closure and a profound understanding that some spirits, no matter how restless, could find peace when their stories were finally told. The Queen Mary, once a vessel of darkness, had emerged into the light, its haunted past transformed into a tale of redemption and remembrance.